All right, we are live. After jumping on one foot, patting our head, rubbing our tummy, and checking audio and all mechanical stuff, we are live with another episode of RoadFS Detail Memoirs. I'm Jody.
And I'm Rod Pusey. And RoadFS Mafia Memoirs is always sponsored by RoadFS, software that drives your business. Today we have two awesome guests, Keith Duplessie and Bob Phillips from P&S Detail Products. Morning, guys.
Morning.
Good morning. Man, we are super excited to have you guys on board. You guys did a distributor meeting all day, half day event on Saturday that fortunately Keith was nice enough to invite Rod and I to participate so that we could get a sneak peek as to what is coming. And all I have to say is that P&S Detail Products is on the move because you guys have a lineup of new things coming out for detailers that I think are going to be amazing for their businesses and for their customers. So welcome, and let's talk about what you guys are up to.
Good morning. Thank you, guys. We hosted P&S University on Saturday. It was supposed to be a live event in Big Bear, California. We were going to have a sales meeting, bring everybody down to Rennie's shop. The concept was to, get everybody together, but that couldn't happen. So Keith had this amazing idea of creating an online format to where we did 5 separate classes of about 35 to 45 minutes apiece. And what was kind of cool is they went from, Hayward, California to Big Bear to Boise to back to Hayward to back to Big Bear. And then so it was like, there was multiple locations. So it kept the event kind of fresh. People could log off, take a break, come back to the new class session. And they were basically, pretty much all about us launching new programs and products. So we previewed a lot of new products that we're going to be releasing in 2020. And then some that we've already released, just kind of, giving some education, talking about the key benefits and differentiators of those products and really, engage our team. So it was really the brainchild of Keith Duplessie.
Yeah, and I thought it was an awesome event. When I first saw the format, I wasn't sure how that was going to work. I've been to other virtual trade shows, if you will. This wasn't a trade show. This was, like you said, a training, and it was for distributors. But I've been to virtual trainings and things where they had sessions that were on top of each other. And that was always really frustrating because, when you want to go to 2 sessions, you gotta kind of split it. But the format that you guys did, I enjoyed it because you did have a chance to take a break. You could be involved in every session if you wanted to be, and allowed you to go through and really learn how to do it. And I think probably, with anything like a Zoom meeting, sometimes you have technical difficulties. But with that one, there were a few technical difficulties, but it seems to be okay in that setting. Like when you guys shifted to Boise, the first time there was an issue with audio, but it was totally understandable. And I think people are kind of getting used to that. The more we do this format, the more we get used to the fact that this has that or that has that benefit or that. But it was great to see the hands-on stuff. That's what I really liked about that, because in a format where everybody would have been sitting in a classroom, we could have heard people talk about it, and Sydney and Keith could have talked about the glass coating or the glass polishing, but to actually see it and have a hands-on demo of it was phenomenal, and you didn't have to leave your living room, right? So,
well, and that's always the part that freaks you out when you do an event like that, right? I mean, first you're transitioning 5 times because we started at 7:45 Pacific and we ended just a little after 1 o'clock, and you're like, what's the bleed off? We're going to get 50 people in the morning and end up with 17 at the end of the day. And we really held our number to 47, 48. And then, the other freak out is, oh my goodness, what happens if the audio or the visual doesn't work? And,
right.
I think the bonus is we really have a great partnership with Rennie, and I'm going to give Chris Woolman a plug here too. Those guys have done, way too many webinars in the last couple of months with what's going on with COVID. So we had a very, very deep team there that helped us kind of get through that. And so, the technical difficulties we had with Sydney's at the start were, I guess, that anticipated a little bit of transition time. And I think they showed it was authentic, it was live, it was real, and people were really tolerant of that. So we were really blessed that it went off really, for the most part, without a hitch. And we had great interaction, and people were able to ask questions. And the other big thing I thought was cool was we got to bring in a few of our distribution partners to participate with us, and getting Carlos from SoCal and Uber Detail in to Big Bear to work with Rennie and Kyle was awesome. And then to go to Stephen Chin, one of our distributors in the Bay Area, one of our oldest distributor really in the Bay Area, was awesome. And then to bring in the Rag Company guys because they were in our neighborhood. And the only challenge I had was I wanted to invite you guys over, but Sydney's garage isn't big enough. So the challenge there.
Yeah.
But it was cool to involve our partner distributors in those things too. So I think that's a formula we'll keep whether we go in person or standalone in the years to come, because I really do think it gives us an opportunity to have a special interaction and to see folks adopt what we're doing. So
yeah, and
super excited about that. The engagement was great, and it was a continuation of the outreach that Bob and I did last year at the end of the year, which, Bob said, hey, let's talk to all our distributors. And the year before we tried to do that. And this year we did a survey in November, and then we got on the phone with our distributors, and Bob and I had an interview session with all of them. And we kind of reviewed the survey and got their input. So P&S University, the website, which is our internal distributor website, was built for them as a result of their feedback. And this event this last weekend was an outgrowth of that. And so they're partnered program, and I'm glad to say we have good participation there. But those, along with the other thing that we're doing, which was the product rollouts, 12 for 12. And that's a big undertaking. I mean, Dave and Bob and the whole team down in P&S in Hayward have put a ton of effort into keeping another product rolling out the door every month. And that's been a flagship thing for us. This is the year of new products for P&S. We were a little stagnant last year, but we were doing other things last year. We were growing at such a tremendous rate. The Bead Maker and the Brake Buster forced us to really make them a focus so we can fulfill the demand, which was great. So
now, one of the things you guys did this year, not by choice but you switched your product lines because of COVID. So I know that wasn't part of the plan, I'm sure, in December, the 12 for 12, but how did that impact your goals for the year of making that transition into, hand sanitizer and things like that?
So that was, if you remember, I think it was about March 6th, something like that, that we had released isopropanol gel, right, on social media, because my brother decided that, hey, given this whole COVID thing, we should probably just make, hand sanitizer available to our people. But at the time, FDA hadn't released their relaxed their restrictions. So we could only call it isopropanol gel. We couldn't call it a hand sanitizer. And then, once we went into, shelter in place, they softened the regulations so companies like us could make a hand sanitizer. And the ironic thing is we had a brand new fill line that was just sitting in our other warehouse that we hadn't set up yet. We got it in October of 2019, and it was just sitting there. And then so, my brother goes, well, I guess we're going to set up the other fill line and start filling hand sanitizer. I'm like, okay, let's do it. So, I mean, we literally, we went from no hand sanitizer to making hand sanitizer in about 24 hours. I mean, it really happened that
wow.
quick. And then the whole thing was trying to meet, demand, right? You couldn't get isopropyl alcohol and all those things, but, that was pretty cool. And then we added surface sanitizer. I mean, one of the things that we really wanted to focus on was to make sure that our distribution partners were relevant, right? That they could provide a service, if not everything they were going to do, but provide some sort of service to their clientele to make sure that they were relevant in the marketplace. And, it was a challenge because we were essentially required to lock down initially too. So we went to four work days, 50% staff, had half our team working 2 days, the other half working the other 2 days. And trying to keep up was a challenge. I mean, during those periods, Dave and I were working 6 and 7 days a week so that we could make sure that we were providing what we needed for our customers, and then also providing for our staff, our employees, to make sure that the business, kept rolling like we needed to roll.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's been. You guys asked about how did that interact with our 12 for 12. It really didn't stop us. Those plans were made, and we kept going. I mean, it added to, but it didn't really take away from that. And the other thing was, how perfect was the timing for us? We rolled out P&S University March 1st, which is our virtual site for our distributor education. So it gave us an opportunity to provide content and to build that content. We have an entire COVID-19 module on P&S University. And so, again, be relevant to our distributors, help keep them relevant, give them information and content. It was a nice pairing, and it was, I will say, it's a happy coincidence. I'd love
what Keith did was really amazing is he put this online portal together for our distribution partners, but then, the whole COVID, module, if you will, Keith took every webinar that Rennie did or anybody else that we felt that was relevant and, put it into the module. So then our distribution partners could go there and catch up on all this, the information. And what was interesting is, our information changed just as quick as everybody else's information was changed. So the story we were telling the first couple of days, we had, the new information came out 2 or 3 weeks later. You had to, make sure you look at the latest and greatest because we were quote, maybe misinformed back,
Yeah. And I think that's kind of understandable. Everybody only got the information they got, I mean, if the CDC came out the first 2 weeks and said that isopropyl alcohol killed it, everybody's going to jump on that because that's the latest information. And if 2 weeks later they come out and go, nope, it's grape Jello. Grape Jello wipes it out. Everybody's going to be selling grape Jello. So everybody's trying to react as fast as they could. Yeah. I think the advantage of the format, even the format we're on today, and what you guys did with the distributors, P&S University on Saturday, is there are folks that otherwise couldn't make it, right? I'm sure you've had events, Bob, where you've invited all the distributors and there's that one group that's just like, I can't break away. I can't fly out. There's this thing going on. But by having it virtual, you gain that person and then you get that additional knowledge out. So I think it has advantages. Jody and I are face-to-face guys. We drive all over, fly all over. And usually by this time of the year, we probably already had 6 or 7 trips. But in this particular case, it's not a bad idea to have more of that stuff going on. And I think it's going to be something we see in the future a lot more of is, product demos and things that are just posted. But Rag Company's been great at doing that. They have product demos and how to take care of your towels and all that stuff. But seeing a product demo from like a Kyle or a Sydney or Rennie and being able to go to that, reference that over and over and over again, that's kind of invaluable. I mean, you've permanently got a connection with Sydney showing you how to polish glass. I mean, it's never going to go away.
Well, it's content, right? Having content is not a bad thing, and how you present it and how you use it, and it's got to be fresh. So we got 6 hours of content out of that weekend, and how we chop that up and use it will be our next challenge. But we've got the content, we've captured it, it's in video. So now we just have to decide, how we present it and how we set it up. But yeah, you guys are absolutely right. I mean, it's a great opportunity to have contact, and there's that residual. All of that will end up in the P&S University virtual site in perpetuity, and until we decide that we want to replace it. And the beauty is, as Bob mentioned, as we got new information with the COVID, I could go into that virtual site and just turn off the old or out-of-date info and just put the new stuff up. And so whatever we had there was able to stay current, and it was just a matter of managing it properly.
The thing that was really exciting for me to kind of watch over the process is you're investing in educating your distributors. You're investing in educating the end customer. But you did a phenomenal job of bringing all the different players. And I think this is a lesson for the small business owners, like who can they bring into their circle that will help elevate their game as a company, but also educate their customers so that they can be more effective. And this really hit home to me when in the concluding session with Stephen Chen, because here's a guy that's a distributor. He's trying to sell product to detailers, and he's sharing what he's done strategically on social media to, one, be relevant in the market, 2, to highlight new products, and 3, how to educate people. And I thought that was really, really powerful, because he said, look, I'm not like inundating my social media. I'm just strategically being consistent with a message that is strong with my brand and has a purpose in educating my customers so that I can build my business. So he's looking at it as twofold. One, how can I help my customer? But also in the result is that he's helping his business grow and he's having a real impact.
Well, and I think the thing that got me with that whole program is somebody asked him, well, what's your hit rate, and do you pay attention to your numbers, and how do you promote? And he says, I don't pay any attention to any of that. I'm just creating content that is positive, that kind of gets my message out, what I'm trying to do. And if it hits 100 people or it hits 8 people, that's not his goal. So, Facebook creates a society in a lot of ways of, hey, how many likes did it get? How many views did I get? And so Stephen taking an approach of, I'm putting it out there, and if it takes, great. If it doesn't take, I'm okay with it, was kind of an interesting perspective to hear, that he doesn't really pay attention to those numbers. For him, it was about content, and it was about providing information and putting the brand forward. And that, I got to tell you, I get a lot of leads from Stephen because people contact him about, how do I become a part of Team P&S? So he's doing something right, because he's not just generating interest from the detailer end, but also from other suppliers or distributors who want to be P&S team members.
Yeah, and I kind of look at social media in the old, remember the old adage years and years ago of any press is good press, and I don't necessarily buy into that, but I do buy into any way that a customer finds you is good. We've had people come to us 3 years after we had an article go out in a magazine, and some dentist office had the magazine sitting there that was 3 years old, and the guy picked it up and was like, hey, I saw this article about you guys in a magazine. We're like, holy crap, that was from 2013. But you know what? Excellent. Glad we did the magazine article. But we don't track, how many people have, gosh, this magazine, it produced this much of a run rate. And I don't have time for all of that. I'm like, my philosophy is literally, if they can get a hold of us, that's a good thing, however they get a hold of us.
So what are you guys really excited about with your new product lines? Because, let's be honest, Bead Maker hit it out of the park. You have Brake Buster, but you have some new things coming out. What's really exciting, or that you're hoping that will be exciting for the detailers?
Well, it's interesting because when we got shelter in place and everybody locked down, we softened the way we release new products, because we knew our all our distribution partners weren't out there working, right? Yeah. So we kind of released things internally to them, and then slowly but surely started to release some of the products so they could just, get caught up. But I think the excitement is just the collaboration amongst our team to help us come up with, everything's not a home run, but they've just been on point. I say to Rennie, I go, how lucky are that we got, the group that we have? And he always says back to me, well, P&S fosters it. Well, maybe we do, but the reality of it is, what I'm so proud of is how our team is just on point with, what the needs of the industry are. What should P&S do? Nothing better hearing from, your influencers or your, our brand ambassadors out there that just have their finger on the pulse, and we know each other so well that they help guide us. So, obviously we released the Odor Doc, which is a, chlorine dioxide, disinfectant or deodorizer for a car. Iron Buster is one that was released. That's a decontaminant for wheels and paint. And quite frankly, we really underestimated that per product. Because of where we are, West Coast, it's a popular product, but we really underestimated the demand for that. So when we released that, that's very exciting. It's a really nice product. It's got less of an odor than some of those products in that category. So it's a little more pleasurable to work with, if you will. But obviously, we're kind of jumping the gun, because you guys were lucky enough to be on the call that things we haven't actually publicly released yet, but we released them to our distribution partners. So, you know, we're massaging our coating offering, right? I think that's the best thing I can say. We're also doing some stuff to take care of glass, you know, so those are things I'm really excited about because I just think there's such an opportunity for us. Yeah.
And so when
go ahead, Rod.
And when you release them, so you're releasing them to the distribution partners, and then you have an actual release date. Is that okay?
Yeah. So out of, you know, Keith mentioned the interviews that we did with our distribution partners. One of the things they got frustrated on, he goes, "Hey, we're seeing new stuff on social media before we even bought it, right? Or we have it on our shelves." So now we release it to them, and it was supposed to be release it, give them the info, give them the opportunity to buy it, get it on their shelves, and then announce it a month later. Well, what COVID did was it kind of, you know, shrunk all that down. So now we're telling them about it and we're releasing it 2 weeks later because we have pent up products and we want to get them out there. So yeah, Monday, I think what is it, Keith? Monday, the 22nd of June, there'll be, you know, the coating products will be released, and then some of the glass products will be released also.
Yeah, and you know, we've got stuff that lined up for the rest of the year too. And again, we have some other things, some stuff that partially debuted at SEMA that will round out. So the product offering won't stop for us, but we're trying to do it in a you know, we want excitement, we want buzz. You can't just slow down the machine for any reason, but you do have to give your distributors an opportunity to fulfill the need, because we've all learned that lesson. You can't get the pool excited and then not have anything in it, you know. So we've got to have product on the shelf to our folks, or give them the opportunity to have product on the shelf. And then when we excite the base out there, the P&S fans and everybody looking for product, they have an opportunity to fulfill that need immediately. Because there's nothing worse than saying, "Hey, we got this great new product," but nobody has it. And you know, we can't let that happen to our distributor partners, and we can't let that happen to the product line, because
it still happens anyway, because some don't pull the trigger as quick as they should.
Right.
But you know, that at least, you know, we try and give them the opportunity, and so we do the best job we can.
So what do you guys think is missing? And this is kind of a loaded question because you know, obviously we're all, you know, doing different jobs here, but so I see all the forums, right? And we're on, you know, I don't know, 45 different detailer forums. And I see somebody that I'm just blown away when they're like, "Hey, do you guys know any products that do X?" And you're like, holy crap, there's 50 products that do that. How do you not know about the product? So what do you think is missing that some of these detailers that are in the networks, I mean, there's thousands and thousands of detailers, but how do they not know about a product? I mean,
well, but I think the better answer there, and this has actually been a great thing for P&S. You know, Sydney is kind of our flag bearer for this, standard bearer for this. She's going through our Pro Series product line and pulling those products back to the front. One of them is TrueView Glass Cleaner for us. We've had for years. Yep. But you know, glass cleaner is not sexy necessarily in the industry, but everybody uses it. So when you have a great product, you know, again, what do you guys use for? You know, Kyle, another one of those who's using some Pro Series products that we've had for many, many years, that people are like, "Man, I wish I had a solution for this." And Kyle's like, "Dude, I've been using that solution for 12 years or 10 years. So, you know, our job partially is to not necessarily make a new product, but to reintroduce our base, even our distributors, to products. You know, one of the things we've learned in the last 4 years, Bob and I have, is we've added a ton of new distributors, but we brought them in on the double black excitement. They don't know the other 1,000 SKUs we have sitting on our books that may fit a need for them that they don't know they have. They know they have, but they don't know that we have a great product that's got, you know, a long track record of success that they could reach out, grab, and immediately sell. So I think that's going to happen no matter what you do. There's no way around that. You know, guys who've been around for 40 years, what's the gripe? Well, they never look at new products. And then the guys who've been around for 7 months, they don't know the history. So there's always that gap. And I don't think there's anything you can do to stop that. All you can do is when people have the ask, you just introduce them to your product line. And, if you make a great product, people will jump on it and give it a try.
Yeah. No,
I think the better part is those older products, you've got a track record. You've got a long history of success that people can go and say, wow, I didn't know about this product, but people have been using it for years and it's done great things, So there's that positive to products that answer that question.
Plus, we didn't, if you look back, 5 years ago, we didn't have the platform that we have now.
Yeah.
Right.
So we've got a lot of nuggets. And what's great is, Sydney and Kyle are kind of going through them and they're like, man, this is great. Shouldn't we promote this? And, there's nothing better than, re-energizing sales on an existing product when you don't have to invent something, right? It's already there.
Right.
One of the things is, when we get together for these meetings, obviously Dave is there and he's the brewmaster, right? And then we threw out this wish list and he just goes, oh shit. I mean, because it's like a lot of work and he's like, and so my goal is to kind of maneuver that to try and get things to fit into kind of what we already do and still offer fresh things, and not just keep reinventing, the same animal, which we, sometimes we already have.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things.
I think that's a good.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Rod. I think that's a good lesson for any business because I think a lot of times, we're pushing sales and we've been focusing over on this niche and we've neglected these service offerings or these product lines. And if we just re-energize or refocus a bit, maybe even rebrand a bit and say, look, I have these services, and they're like, oh, I never realized you did that. And it provides an opportunity for you to, provide a better service for your customer, but also expand your margins and your offerings to your customers with something that you already had. You just maybe neglected it.
Right. Yeah. And that's one of the things that when we started, you guys have been very gracious and allowed us to kind of tag along and help you guys out at the SEMA shows for the last couple of years, which has been phenomenal for us. But it's really thrown us into learning a lot about the P&S products. And that's one of the things I think that I really was an eye-opener to me the first couple of years is that you're not just relabeling something. I think a lot of people thought when the double black line came out that you just relabeled something. And it's like, no, these are brand new. These are the new IPAs and the new, Hefeweizens of P&S, if you will, that Dave has put together so that you don't have an internally competing product, right? There's not another bead maker with a different label on it. It's a new product. So that I think is something that's really cool about you guys in the mix of all the product companies we see. I mean, this last year at SEMA, I was just blown away at how much, everybody and their dog was a chemical company there. And it was, I feel like personally with what's going on this year, we're going to see a lot of consolidation in the market because people may not, like you guys have a long history, may not have that history and the ability to continue to keep going.
So, man, we could easily keep going. So, and we've been going like 30 minutes here. So I want to make sure that we give an opportunity for, how do people that are not either distributing or they're not using as a detailer P&S products or they're not exposed to yet, how do they get connected to you guys?
So easiest way to connect to us is if you're looking to buy product and you're just a detailer on the street and you're excited about the product line, or you want to say, I've heard about this bead maker thing, what's the deal? Two ways. Well, number one, go to our website, and in the top of that page, there's a distributor locator. And I tell everybody, you can buy direct from us, and we appreciate that, but find your local distributor. And we have, over 100 now, and that we're worldwide. We have folks all over the country, all over the world. Find your local distributor, buy from them. And 2 reasons to do that. Number one, they're close to you. So they're an easy get. There's no turnaround time. There's no waiting for shipping. And number 2, they have other stuff of ours that you may be interested in. And it's a real easy interaction to get those. If you want to be a distributor for P&S, we have a couple of programs out there. A storefront program for those who have established shops who really want to resell some product. And for on-the-street distributors, we're always looking for great partners. One of the things Bob and I talk about regularly is making sure that we continue to energize our current guys, but never forget that we've got to continue to grow as well as a team. So if you want to do those things, reach out to me directly, Keith@pssales.com. is my email. That's the best way to get a hold of us for becoming a new distributor. You can also, there's a link on our website if you want to hit that, and that'll refer you back to me as well. But those are the two best ways. You know, Bob has been a great supporter of our distributor network, and that's why it's as strong as it is over all the years, is that we really want to put them forward. Now, that's our goal, is to have our guy on the street that's next to you, that's down the road, be the guy to get your product, because they're going to have it for you at a great price. They're going to have it for you with great service, and they're right there. So there's no wait time. So if you need it now, you need it now, and they have it.
Yeah, I mean, we've structured it so that, you know, our actual distribution partners on the street, you know, everything's the same price. You know, people think, oh, I'm going to get a better deal here. It's not really that way. You know, shop local if you can. The other thing too is we get a lot, you know, our website sales are growing immensely, but realistically, we really don't want to grow our company website. We want you to buy from, you know, the other online retailers that stock our product, because quite frankly, they do a better job than we do. People forget we're a chemical manufacturer for over, you know, 60, almost coming on 60 years. We really make stuff and we distribute stuff. We're not about, you know, the online support, because that's really not our area of expertise, even though we do have a website. So not only, you know, hit up our guys on the street, but if you're wanting to buy online, look at some of the online retailers that stock and sell our product, because they do a spectacular job. Because we get complaints. I mean, the guy he'll buy something in Maine and we're in San Francisco, and he goes, hey, how come it costs $20 to get it there? I'm like, dude, because it costs $20 to get it there. What do you want me to do, right? I mean, you think you'd look at somebody closer? You know, so those are things that we're really trying to work on, because people get frustrated when they go on our website and I'm like, look, it's not what we do, you know? So, but anyway, yeah.
Yeah, and we've got locations all over the country, and we've got distributors all over the country. So there's parts of the earth we haven't covered. I mean, people think we've got bead maker on every square inch of the world. We don't yet, but we're getting there. But yeah, buy local or hit the online retailers that we have that we work with. You're going to get as good a price there as you're going to get anywhere. And that really supports you, because those distributors that are local to you will carry more product and they'll be more available to you.
That's good.
Awesome.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. I mean, we always love your energy. We love your passion for the industry. We love the way that you lead, by the way that you run your company. I mean, the concept of P&S University, I think that is phenomenal. I mean, to be able to be driven to educate your distributors and your team members like that, I mean, that is unparalleled in the market. And I think that is one of the things that really make you guys stand above other people. And we're just really honored to be a small part of, you know, working with you guys in various capacities. So, Rod, do you have any last message before we bow out?
Nope. Stay safe. Sounds like you guys are going to be around maybe in July for a little thing going on out in Hidden Springs. Hopefully we see you guys out there.
We gotta come up and we gotta support our people in Boise, right? So
Right.
yeah, I mean, I can't believe the turnout's coming. We're all coming.
I know.
Chris Woolman's coming,
Yep.
Kyle's coming, Rennie's coming, their families are coming, Keith's coming, his wife's coming.
Yeah, I think there's
I don't know
more.
if I can get my wife to go to a car show, but
Yeah, I think there's more people
Well, if anybody,
network than there are actually going to the car show from that neighborhood. So
that's right. If anybody wants to come out a day early, I'm glad to take them out on the boat, because I know, Bob, you like to ski. So.
oh, okay.
Ooh.
I like
There you
that.
go.
Say the word for golden.
Yeah, it's a good one. That's a good enticement. Thank you.
There you go. Love
There you
to have
go.
you guys. So, hey, thank you so much for joining us, guys. I mean, you guys are the best. And those that are tuning in, make sure you check out P&S Detail Products. They're a phenomenal company. They have great products, and they're great people behind them. And that's what we really love about them. So you guys have a great day, and we will check you guys same time, same channel, just next week right here on RoadFS Detail Memoirs.
bye.
See ya.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Thank
See you guys.